Welcome to This Explainer. Today, I'm going to mentor you on organizing your notes for those massive school projects, and we're going to use a really fascinating case study from IBM Research to do it. So picture this. You're about to start the biggest assignment of your life. Let's say it's a huge science fair experiment. You're reading tons of articles, you're talking to teachers, you're collecting an absolute mountain of facts. How do you keep track of all that without completely losing your mind? Well, IBM researchers actually found that human memory is the biggest bottleneck in complex research. So today, we're going to look at exactly how real scientists solve this problem by building what they call a second brain. Ever forget a brilliant idea right when you needed it? We have all been there. You're working on that huge project, and suddenly that amazing fact you read just yesterday is entirely gone. It's right there on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't reach it. It's so frustrating, right? Well, what you're experiencing in that moment is actually a failure of our biological retrieval system. Our brains are incredible at generating ideas, but they're honestly pretty terrible at acting like file cabinets to retrieve raw facts exactly when we need them. But you really shouldn't feel bad about that, because IBM researchers point out that we all face constant information overload, the overload problem. Too much data, too little memory. Think of your physical brain like a tiny cup, and all the information coming at you from the internet, your classes, your books, that's a giant waterfall. It's just way too much data to hold at once. When you try to catch a waterfall in a tiny cup, most of that water is just going to spill right out and be lost forever. So to fix this, let's dive into a concept called a personal knowledge base, which the researchers call a PKB for short. Essentially, this is a digital backpack for your brain. Scientifically speaking, it acts as an external hard drive. By maintaining your records and facts here for future reference, you're taking that heavy cognitive load completely off your actual brain. You aren't just storing notes, you're freeing up your mental energy so you can actually focus on thinking, analyzing, and building incredible projects instead of just trying to memorize everything. To build this digital backpack, researchers often use note-taking environments, frequently called vaults, in apps like Obsidian. They use these apps to act as that second brain to securely store all their ideas. They set things up so they absolutely don't have to memorize every single fact. By putting the raw information right into the app, they clear out the clutter in their biological memory. And that frees them up to do the really fun stuff, like being deeply creative and discovering brand new connections between their ideas. This brings us to Section 1, organizing, boxes and sticky notes. When organizing this digital backpack, I want you to think of it just like arranging the physical objects in your bedroom. We don't need any complicated computer science terms here. Even top researchers rely on brilliantly simple mental models. First up, we have folders. Just like putting your math homework into a specific cardboard box in your room, creating a new note inside a specific folder gives it a permanent home and a really clear context. If you're doing a project on the solar system, putting a note about Mars into a planets folder tells you exactly what that note is about, just based on where it lives. Next, to connect those subjects, researchers use tags. I want you to think of tags like colorful, cute sticky notes that you can just slap onto any paper to connect it to other topics. Researchers simply type a hashtag, like #concept or #sign, right onto their digital notes. It's a remarkably easy way to label a piece of information without ever having to move it out of its home folder. So the really crucial point here is comparing the two. Folders are like fixed, physical boxes, while tags are like those dynamic, colorful sticky notes. A piece of paper can only sit inside one physical cardboard box at a time, right? But you can stick 5 different colorful sticky notes on that exact same piece of paper. Tags let you cross-reference your ideas dynamically no matter what folder they're safely resting in. Folders give you that static structure, but tags create fluid, dynamic networks of ideas. And you know what? Even expert researchers love that feeling of crossing things off a list. Participant 4 in the IBM study noted that moving things around and tagging them has a really positive psychological effect. They said it's the closest thing to checking an item in a paper list. Think about that awesome dopamine hit you get when you finally cross a chore off your to-do list. The scientists are doing the exact same thing here. It turns a massive, scary research project into a fun, manageable game that you'll actually want to play. Moving on to Section 2, finding your stuff later. Because really, what good is packing your digital backpack if you can't find your pencil at the bottom of it when it's time for the test? According to the study, researchers retrieve their knowledge in 3 main ways: using the search bar, clicking a tag, or clicking links inside their notes. It's incredibly simple. You type a word into the search bar, or you click on one of those sticky note tags to instantly pull up every single document with that same tag, or you just click direct links inside a note that jump you to another related note. kind of like following stepping stones across a river. Using the search and tag functions to find notes quickly reveals a key finding from the IBM framework: intentionality. Scientists design their notes specifically based on how they plan to pull them up later. The tool actually shapes their behavior. If a researcher knows they're going to need to look up a definition later, they'll tag it with the word concept the very second they write it. They are purposefully leaving breadcrumbs for themselves to follow so they never get lost in the woods of their own research. Which leads perfectly into Section 3, Be Nice to Future You. This brings us to a major secret for acing your school projects. You literally have to look out for future you. When you're reading a book and taking notes, you aren't doing it for yourself right now in this exact moment. You're doing it for the version of you next week who actually has to write the essay. I love this quote from participant 5 who explicitly says, "I use the tags for future me. I try to be nice to him." They realize that taking good notes today is simply doing a huge favor for yourself tomorrow. If you do a sloppy job organizing your cardboard boxes and sticky notes today, future you is going to be incredibly stressed out. They even use an inbox to dump ideas quickly while working. Participant 5 says every time they create a note, it goes straight to the inbox and they process it maybe once a week when they aren't rushing. This is such a brilliant strategy for managing your energy. If you're in the middle of a fast, intense study session, you don't want to break your focus to figure out the perfect folder. You just throw it all in the general inbox. Then, on a slow, lazy Sunday, you can sit back, calmly read through that inbox, and thoughtfully sort everything into the right boxes. So, for your next big project, I want you to follow these 3 simple steps from the IBM framework. Step 1. Provide a basic structure by building simple cardboard boxes. Don't let a blank page intimidate you. Step 2. Allow changes anytime. As you learn more about your topic, don't be afraid to move those colorful sticky notes around. And Step 3. Connect creation with retrieval. Always leave those breadcrumbs for yourself, saving things based exactly on how you plan to search for them later. By treating your notes as a digital backpack for future you, you are never going to lose a great idea again. Think about how you can use simple folders and tags to completely conquer information overload. Imagine this. If your biological brain was completely freed from having to memorize basic facts, what kind of incredible, highly creative ideas would it finally have the space to dream up? So, how will you build your second brain for your next big assignment? Start building it today, and let's find out.